Well, must be 3 p.m. and that means we're live for this month's Mortgage Minute. And this month, I'm going to discuss common credit card mistakes and how to avoid them. Because, it's real easy to make impulse purchases. You have that shiny new piece of plastic. It's real easy to swipe it and not really budget your money. But high interest rates and ruined credit could be a symptom of overspending on your credit card. So I'm just going to jump right into it. First thing I want to talk about is paying bills late. If you pay more than 30 days late, you're going to get a real drop in your credit score. That's really going to hurt it. But even a day or two late can get you extra interest charges, and your bank might hit you some other fees. I've actually seen, let's say you pay at 4 p.m. on the due date. Some banks, it doesn't post the next day, and you can still get hit with those late charges. So, always pay before the due date. It's really easy. Just put a reminder on your calendar. Don't forget it. Second thing I want to talk about is, racking up a really high credit card bill or only making the minimum monthly payments. So I like to call it the credit card trap. You get this card in the mail, you got a nice $5,000 limit. Oh, I'll just swipe it. I'll pay it next month. I'm just going to make the minimum payment this month. But let me run over some numbers with you. So let's say you have a $5,000 balance on your credit card and the minimum monthly payment is $100. If you only made that $100 payment, it would take 367 months to pay that off. That's longer than it takes to pay off a house for a standard 30-year fixed rate mortgage. And you would almost pay $9,000 in interest, and that's just on that original $5,000. That's charging up to $5,000 and then not putting any more money on that card. Let's say you pay $125 each month. That would take you 122 months to pay off that $5,000 balance, and you'd pay around $3,500 in interest. In the third scenario, let's say you pay $200 a month. That would only take you 43 months to pay off and only about $1,500 in interest. I used a 15% APR. That's about standard, just for calculation purposes. The next topic I want to talk about is closing off old credit cards. Let's say you finally paid off that first credit card you got from college and I'm done, I want to get rid of it. Don't close it out, because credit score is actually calculated by how old your credit cards are and the limit. So you really don't want to close that credit card that you've had for 2, 5, maybe even 10 years. It will really hurt your credit score. The next topic I want to talk about is using your entire available balance, and that will hurt your score too. If you've got a $1,000 limit, you're like, oh, why not use it all? It's fine, I'll pay it. I'm going to be rolling in the dough in a few months, I'll pay it off then. But it will really hurt your credit score, especially if you're trying to purchase a home, get a new car, that sort of thing. You're going to pay a lot higher interest rate for everything when that hurts your score. A good tip I like to use is, let's say you're planning for something soon, right around 30% of your balance usually gives you a little bit of a boost in your credit score. Try it out. Let me know if it works for you in the comments below. The next topic I want to talk about is not reading your statements. Obviously it's boring to read your statements every month, but it's a really good way to know where you're spending the most money, and it's a good way to spot identity theft. For the most part, they start with $2, $3, and then they make sure the person doesn't realize, and they'll do a bigger charge next month. So, take the 5 minutes, read over your statement. You'll be glad you did in the end. Another thing to make sure you know is knowing your terms and fees. A lot of credit cards, they give you a real low introductory rate, sometimes even 0 APR for 12 months. They want you to rack up as much credit card debt as possible in that 12 months because, everyone thinks, oh, once those 12 months are over, I'll just pay it right off right away. But if you don't, they're just going to keep hitting you with interest, and you're going to pay more and more and more. And one of my final topics I want to talk about is cash advances. For the most part, they will charge you the most that they are legally allowed to do a cash advance. I've seen 23, 24, even close to 25% on a cash advance. And what that means is they give you $100 and immediately your balance is $125, and that's going to keep gaining interest. So They do sort of the same thing on balance transfers. Some credit cards will let you transfer them for 0% APR for the first 12 months. Maybe they do 3%, 5% for the balance transfer. But really, no, read through all the terms and conditions. I know it's boring, but it'll save you some money in the long run. And lastly, I learned this tip from a good friend and one of Clinton County's real estate agents. And that is, so I finally paid off my credit card debt, and I was thinking about closing my cards, but he told me to keep them open, and you can go home, get a glass of water, throw it in the freezer, put your cards in there, freeze them up. You won't be as likely to use them for impulse buys. You'll still have them for emergencies. You're going to have to go home, but you're going to have to think about it. So that was my main tips for this week's Mortgage Minute. If there's a topic I didn't cover, let us know in the comments below. I'd love to cover it for you. And I will see you next week, Friday at 3 p.m. for another live Mortgage Minute. And I hope everyone has a good weekend. Thank you and have a good day.